After years of toxic relationship with productivity, I finally found peace and balance with my own procrastination. And now I clearly know when my mind thinks that it's being really productive and important, but in reality, I'm just purely wasting time. So in this video, I will share these five key learnings with you so that you can use it as litmus paper for yourself. First of all, it's spending time finding yet another productivity app and genuinely believing that once you make that setup work, you will be able to hit flow, you will be able to be more productive and accomplish a lot more than you originally thought. I have spent countless hours watching Rome videos, watching Notion videos, researching yet another to-do list, Todoist, Wunderlist, things, a lot of different apps, and I truly believed that once I make those Rome templates work, once I adopt this Notion setup that looks so fancy that a friend of mine or some productivity YouTuber has developed, I will, my life will be complete and I will be incredibly productive. But the reality has always been the same. I would download the app, I would watch some videos on it, and I had a great time watching those videos and I had a great time doing that research. I would set up a new system, dump all my tasks in there. If it's Notion, do something fancy like a review for the day, habit tracking, blah, 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 blah. And, after a week of being super motivated about it, I would just drop that system altogether. And what I've realized is that one, this is a waste of time. And there are only like a few things that truly work. And then two, all that time that you spent on setting up a new system, researching that app, you could have been spending doing the things that you actually are supposed to do. Like in my case, if it's, making a new YouTube video and writing a script about it. But instead we're just obsessed with setting up these new systems and apps, and most likely it's a total waste of time. Reading a lot of literature, nonfiction literature, or taking courses, basically consuming any information that is actionable and could be applied, but not doing anything about it is also a total waste of time. And I've spent so many hours reading blogs, reading books about productivity, self-improvement, business literature, startup literature, stuff about marketing, leadership, I don't know, you name it. Nonfiction is one of my favorite genres, and I love reading this like pop culture, business, self-improvement, blah, blah, blah stuff. I spent so much time on it, and I've done that specifically since I've moved to the Bay Area, to Silicon Valley, because there I feel like everyone is, flexing at how much they can do, how much they know, and everyone is obsessed with reading nonfiction, listening to podcasts, and just consuming a lot of information. And the reality is that I spent these countless amount of hours, but very rarely I would take the information that I've consumed and actually apply it to myself and to my real life. I would read and think in the moments, wow, that's an interesting thought. I should totally apply this new marketing strategy to grow in my YouTube channel. Or, wow, this is a very interesting productivity technique. Next time I'm sitting down and doing stuff, I should separate my task into like 5,000 little steps and then be very meticulous with following it. I think there's totally so much useful information out there, and a lot of it can be extremely valuable and can improve your life, career, you name it, for the better. But it's all about that art of learning and being hands-on with it. And very few people are good at applying what they learn. A lot of us are good at learning things, but that's also just a form of procrastination. So that's another thing that I learned and experienced in myself. And now, I am still reading books, I'm still reading blogs, I'm still obviously consuming information, but I'm just a lot more targeted with how much time I spent on it, and am I actually extracting something that I can immediately apply from the information that I'm learning. And I'm not just doing it for, to consume my brain with thinking that it's being busy and it's being productive. Meeting a lot of people in professional communities, networking with people, thinking that that will bring you closer to whatever goals you might have is also a form of procrastination and form of wasting time. And that's something that I was very keen on doing about a year and a half ago, right before I've decided to leave my job at Airbnb to pursue entrepreneurship. And at the time, I was startup ideating. And when I was startup ideating, well, first of all, I was reading a lot of startup literature about, the right approach, the right way, the right framework that I should think about. But besides that, I was, and I'm still am a part of a bunch of professional communities, and some communities were oriented around people who were in the same place as I am, ideating, thinking about leaving their job, or they have already left and they're looking for that, magical idea that they're going to work on, or potentially looking for a co-founder. To me, I was genuinely very productive because, I had a goal in mind. I wanted to find a co-founder. I wanted to find that idea. And I felt like the more people I expose myself to and the more people I expose my intention to, the likelier it's going to be that I will get on the right track. But the reality was, well, first of all, I do have friends that did meet their potential co-founder or find an idea by meeting people. But if all you're doing is just networking and meeting people, then you're probably doing something wrong. And I was spending, I'd say, like 50% of my free time just meeting people and talking to people, and honestly that have not brought me anywhere really. And then a few months later, when the pandemic has started, I did get excited about a video live streaming, pay-per-view live streaming idea. And once I got excited about it, I just immediately started working on it. And I realized that, hey, all that time I've spent just talking to people was actually a waste of time, and what I really should have been doing was testing hypotheses, cutting my teeth in an idea that even slightly was interesting to me, because you find your passion through doing something and not just by sitting around talking to people, dreaming, ideating, and so on and so forth. So if you are spending a lot of time networking, being a part of communities, and really genuinely thinking that you're gonna move forward with your own personal goals by spending a lot of your time networking, then you're probably also doing it wrong. And that's something that I realized the hard way. One other thing that I'm still very guilty of, and excuse my tea, I've actually been very into drinking tea lately. I'm trying to cut out caffeine completely. This is herbal, this is a mint tea, and my other favorite is chamomile tea. Highly recommend. It's really soothing and awesome. Another form of procrastination that makes our brain feel very productive, very important, in charge and control and busy, but in reality we're just wasting time, is doing a lot of research and planning instead of actually doing the projects that we intended to do. And I've done it so many times, and I think since this is a YouTube video, there is a lot of good examples in which I've done that within my YouTube journey. One of them was launching a podcast. I was really interested in doing a podcast at some point, and I've done so much planning and research trying to come up with a perfect name, come up with a perfect strategy, come up with the perfect guest that I can interview, all before I just launched that first episode. And I did end up doing this podcast. It was more of a live stream thing on Instagram, and it was a good experiment. I learned some things from it. I did not decide to continue, but hopefully I'll launch a podcast sometime in the future when I'll feel more confident in the concept. But before I even did that simple experiment of just picking up my camera, calling my friends, hey, do you want to be interviewed for my Instagram live? And them saying yes, and us just jumping on that live, I've spent probably weeks just thinking, I need a perfect name, I need perfect branding, I need to have a perfect idea about what this podcast is going to be about. And this was total waste of time, because all I needed to do is just act and put out the concepts out there. And so planning, research might feel very productive, but in reality, most of the times you just have to force yourself to do that first step of the projects that you intend to do. research most of the time is a waste of time. A lot of times our procrastination also has to do with some internal fears that we need to explore and figure out whether they're even real. And that's a topic that's very interesting to me, and I'd love to explore it in a separate video. If you're interested in that, leave a comment down below. If you enjoyed this video, I have another video on false things I learned about productivity that you can check out. But for now, have a wonderful day and bye for now.